Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at a knife from Shieldon that I've been testing out for a couple of months now. If you follow the channel, you know that I had an opportunity to pick out a couple of knives when I was at SHOT Show earlier this year from Shieldon in order to test out and do reviews on. This particular one, as soon as I saw it on the table, actually really caught my eye, and I wanted to go ahead and check it out, and I wanted to actually carry it just because of how comfortable it felt when I was playing around with it on the table. And I'm so glad they were able to let me have it so I can test it out and showcase it for you guys. So as always, it does come in this nice sheath here. I love the blue stitching. It really contrasts it really nice with the black overall color of the sheath itself. So as you open it up, inside is the actual knife. And this particular knife is called the Hoplon. So it's a really interesting name. The designer of the knife is Rolf Helbig. Don't really know much about that designer, but you know, if this knife is any indicative of his designs, really cool knife. So obviously, as you can see right off the bat, you have this really gorgeous saddle brown micarta scales on the knife. They feel really awesome. It's rough micarta, so it definitely will patina. You know, the more you use it, the more the oils of your hands get into it. It's going to make it look really cool. And then you also have a G10 spacer in the back right here, which actually kind of dips down and comes back up, and it creates a little lanyard point right there. And I like the fact that they went with this kind of OD green color to contrast the saddle brown micarta. Looks really awesome. The pivot screw is actually hidden by the Shieldon logo right there, which is really nice. But you do have the screw in the back, so if you need to tighten it or loosen it to take it apart or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that. So the knife itself feels really nice in the hand, and that's thanks to that micarta. I'm a sucker for micarta. I love the feel of micarta, especially natural micarta. Don't really like the polished one too much, but the natural feels really nice, and I love the more you handle it, the more it becomes your own, because, you know, it starts patinaing to the oils on your hands. Now, don't let this knife deceive you. It is a little bit smaller size knife, as you guys can see right there, but it's deceptively chubby right in the middle, and that's an interesting way of putting, you know, of saying something about the knife. But it makes it so comfortable, especially when you deploy the blade, because it swells a little bit in the middle right there, so it actually feels your hands a lot better when you are gripping it. So that is an interesting feel to it. As far as the pocket clip goes, you do have a wire pocket clip, nice and deep ride, and it is reversible. It comes tip up right hand carry, but you can go ahead and switch it over to the left side if you are left-handed, and you'll be able to do it that way. And I like the fact that you do have actually two ways of deploying the blade. You have a standard flipper, but you also have a front flipper. Now, I personally am not a fan of front flippers. The reason for it is I feel that I have to rearrange my hands too much, especially because of the size of the knife. With this one, you know, I can grip the pocket clip with my fingers there, and it gives me a little bit more tension. But I find that I end up actually deploying the blade less times than I actually try it. So the fact that they did include a regular flipper is an A+ for me, because that's what I end up using anyways. My finger automatically goes there without having to reposition it as I'm taking it out of my pocket. Now you do see a little bit of jimping in the front flipper area right here, and then you do have jimping on the little kind of thumb rest right here, and it's really interesting because the jimping is a little bit different. You know, the one on the front flipper here is a little bit spaced wider, so I guess that gives you, you know, more grip, versus the one on the thumb ramp right here is more close together, so it's perfect to lock your thumb in there, so it doesn't you know, move forward. But I'll show you guys now. So I'll go ahead and deploy the blade. It's interesting, but the actual the forefinger flipper, or the back flipper right here, does not have any jimping on it, but it's perfectly situated where it does catch your finger right there very nicely, and the blade deploys very nice. Solid lockup. This is a liner lock right there. You do have skeletonized liners on the inside there, and then you have a nice liner. It's a nested liner lock, so it actually fits really nice into the handle right there. Very easy to get to thanks to this cutout. No jimping on there, but it's not necessary at all because, you know, you can access the liner and it closes very nice. Blade is nice and centered as it should be. I'll go ahead and deploy it again and take a look at that blade. Now this is what they are calling a Japanese Tanto. So again, you don't have that very aggressive angle that you do get on the American Tanto. It's more of a swept up. And I love how the tip is perfectly aligned with the spine of the blade. It looks really, really nice. This is a really, really cool looking blade. And again, that kind of chubbiness of the handle grips right into your hand, and then your thumb just falls right in there. Perfect ergos on this knife. I can tell you, it is a joy to use and a joy to carry. As far as blade steel, you have 154 cm. So again, a little bit of upgraded steel from depending on what you're looking at. But, you know, I think that majority of Shieldon knives end up coming with 154 cm. So again, it's a good steel, especially for everyday usage. The actual sharpening of this, you know, as with any Tanto, you just got to make sure that, you know, you sharpen the, the flat edge. Don't do it together. In other words, you don't want to round it up too much. That's what a lot of times people tend to do with American Tanto, because you do have that that really aggressive angle to it. And when they sharpen it, they tend to roll the blade, and it tends to actually turn it from an American Tanto into a Japanese Tanto. So again, you know, just take your time when you go to resharpen this, but very, very easy to sharpen and keep it nice and honed. So again, 154 cm is stamped on the blade right there. Hoplon, the name of the knife itself, is stamped on the other side. And then you do have the maker's mark right there. So again, this is, or designer's mark, I should say. So it's Rolf Helbig. Again, first design for me from that that designer, and I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. Feels really, really nice in the hand. Perfect 4-finger grip for me, as you guys can see right there. As far as the blade length is 2.59 inches on the blade, so perfect for EDC tasks. You know, a little bit smaller than your typical 3-inch blades, but you know, if you want to have something a little bit more compact, again, it fits really nice in the hand. Perfect blade to handle ratio, as you guys can see right there. Total length is 6.32 inches. So again, great size for EDC carry, great size for EDC usage. Weight on this guy, 2.86 ounces. Very, very light, and it is thanks to the micarta, the actual wire clip here. You know, that does cut back a little bit on weight, and they did skeletonize those liners, as you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can make it up, but they have these 3 big circles right in there, and then a couple small ones in the other one. So very, very light, very easy to use, very easy to carry, very easy to maneuver around. As you guys can see, the the back flipper works perfectly. Front flipper, let me go ahead and try it. As I mentioned, I'm not a big fan because I don't end up getting it the majority of times. Let's see, here we go. Let's see. No, I'm sticking with the back flipper. Again, if you practice, I'm pretty sure you will get good to it, and good at it, I should say. And the jimping does help, but I find that for me, it's a 50-50 shot whether I'm going to get it out. Maybe if I loosen the blade just a tad, so it's a little bit, so it's not as stiff, then I might be able to use that front flipper. But again, for me, I prefer to just pull it out of my pocket. My finger naturally reaches down to that back flipper right there, and it's ready to go. So I do like the fact that it did include, the back flipper there. A lot of times I see some really cool knives. They're front flipper only, and I end up, just kind of, if I have the ability to test them out beforehand, I could see how easy it is to do that. But if I don't, if I see it like maybe I'm ordering it online or something like that, I might gloss over and skip over those. But I would definitely say that if you don't know about the Hoplon here, or if you are not too familiar with Shieldon, that you give them a try. I've done a couple of videos already. I will link them at the end of this one if you guys are interested. But it's more on what the knife that a lot of people tend to know Shieldon for, which is their scythe. So if you guys are looking for something different from a company that you might not be aware of, maybe you don't know too much about, this is a really, really cool design to take a look at. But they do have a ton of other designs. Obviously, stay tuned to the channel. We've got 1 or 2 more designs that I'm going to be reviewing based on the ones that I was able to pick from them when I was at SHOT Show at their booth. So, if you guys are interested, feel free to follow the channel so you can see which other ones I review. But I would definitely recommend this guy here. If you're looking for something a little bit different, perfect for EDC purposes, you like micarta, especially natural color micarta or natural feel micarta, I should say, then this is a really, really awesome example of what you can get out there. So again, this is a look at the Hoplon knife from Shieldon. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.